Hey guys, so if you saw my last video, you would have seen an overview of this hammock that I'm hanging out in right now. It is the hammock that I made. I've got it in lounger mode right now, and for all the features that it has, for as versatile that it is, the one thing that I don't like about it, as I showed in my last video, that for whatever reason I cannot get my feet to stay comfortable through the night. Not that they're too cold, they do sit on a pad, and that's fine. But the way of the hammock, even with the diagonal lay, as flat as I can get, I still have a hard time getting enough space to keep my feet just enough apart from not squishing into each other. The lay just wants to push the ankles against each other, and that almost like cuts off a little bit of circulation, or at least makes them kind of tingly a little bit, gives them that little pins and needles feel. And the only way I can offset that or resolve that, I found, is to like put some kind of cushioning or a pillow of some sort under my knees, and that allows me to kind of spread my feet out a little bit away from each other and have a much more comfortable lay while still allowing my legs to be mostly extended out. And so and that works. You know, I've managed to sleep fairly comfortably for the most part doing that through the majority of times that I've slept in the hammock here. But I don't know, for everything I love, for everything else I love about the hammock, I've wondered if I couldn't get more comfortable in another hammock. And as I want to get more serious about hammock hanging, hammock camping, backpacking, even though I love my tarp tent, by the way, I still don't mind sleeping on the ground. There's a lot, you know, for every pro or every benefit there is to hammock camping versus tent camping or on the ground camping, you know, that there's a whole set of pros and cons that go both ways. So I'll do another video in the future going over all that for me and my experience. So I am totally happy on the ground, but I also love a lot of the pros and advantages of hammock camping too. And so anyways, I wanted to explore the possibility of getting more comfortable in a different hammock. And the one hammock that I have been eyeing for quite a few years now, really once I started exploring the opportunity to try out hammock camping, and you know, about the same time I decided to make the one that I'm sitting on right now, I was really intrigued by one called the Warbonnet Blackbird. And it is an older one out there. They have a new one out called XLC. They've had that out a few years as well. But you know, whether it's the Blackbird original or the Blackbird XLC, they've got a signature foot box in it, and that foot box supposedly makes the lay just a little bit more comfortable. And I think that I'm given the one complaint I have about hanging in this hammock with my feet, that foot box in the Warbonnet has been looked really appealing to me. And so I finally have decided to splurge for one of those now. And so I have just received it this last week. So here it is in the box. And this is going to be an unboxing of sorts. And what I chose was, I was really looking at an XLC at first because of all the versatility of the XLC, the modular system, being able to zip off the bug neck entirely, being able to replace that with a wind cover or a winter cover that's supposed to provide, you know, 5, 10, 15 degrees more of insulating warmth for you if you're using it in the winter time. It's also got something you can hang under the bottom to kind of shed wind that way too. And so it looked really appealing, but it was more expensive, and it was also heavier weight because it's got a two-sided zipper. It's got a little bit more hardware, and it's 11 feet long, which is actually probably an ideal hammock length for most hammocks as far as going for that comfort, especially on the diagonal lay. But I wanted to start with the Warbonnet Blackbird Original. I don't at this point plan on doing much, if any, hammock camping in the winter out here in Utah with how cold and snowy it gets out here. I think I'll continue to just sleep in 3 and 4 season tents on the ground out here in the wintertime. So but also not just because of the cost, but also the Blackbird Original being a little shorter in length, more like a 10-foot length, it's just a little bit lighter weight. And that's what I'm trying to do is if I want to improve on this hammock, not only do I want to have a more comfortable lay with my feet, I also want a little bit lighter weight if I can get there. And so if I really wanted lightweight, I would have gone with a single layer hammock or a single layer Warbonnet Blackbird, but because I still haven't committed to investing in the expense of a real nice down underquilt, because those by themselves are pretty expensive, and if I'm gonna invest in a down underquilt, I'm gonna also want to invest in a nice top quilt as well. And so for the time being, I'm going to be content with just using a sleeping bag as a top quilt. My down sleeping bag I think will continue to work just fine as that. And then I have an ultralight car sunshade that I like to use that works really well for me in this hammock. It's worked really well for keeping me warm, so I intend on hopefully being able to continue to use that with the Warbonnet here. So anyways, enough talking, let's open the box up and have a look at it. So I'm going to be very careful here and just barely poke through the tape here. Alright, so here it is. Looks like it's in a two-sided stuff sack here, so that's nice, very similar to a bishop bag. Only this one you can open it up either way. We've got the red end here. I believe this signifies the head end, and the black end signifying the foot end. And then, of course, don't expect much else in the box, but looks like I got the little invoice here. Cool. Got a sticker. Gonna have to find room for this on the back of my car if I can somewhere. So that's cool. And looks like some instructions here. So should be pretty simple, straightforward setting up here. I'll set that up in a minute and have a look at it and have my first lay in it, which I'm really excited for. So anyhow, but in order to set it up and have that first lay, I'm gonna have to rig a suspension on here. Again, to cut costs, I went with the simplest option, and that was to order it in just the continuous loop option. I declined the standard buckle webbing and buckles, and I also declined the more expensive whoopee sling option. And so that's because I like to make my own whoopee slings, and I have done just that. Ordered a 25-foot length of Dynaglide here, and because again, Dynaglide is a little bit lighter weight and can still take over 200 pounds, and I'm well under 200 pounds, so I just like Dynaglide over Amstel just because a little thinner, a little lighter weight. So that's just me. So I made these the other day. Also got Dynaglide in the mail in anticipation for this to put new suspension on, and so that's what I'm going to do right now is throw these whoopee slings on. Alright, so I got my fixed loop this end, and if I can remember right from watching another video on how to do this, I just take the continuous loop on the hammock here, and it comes right apart, and then I can come through here, grab the put it through the end loop here. This is actually should be the structural ridge line inside the hammock. I'm gonna secure that and then do a little lark's head here. I did think about getting some whoopee hooks from Dutchware, or I may just go with the aluminum rings like I have on the hammock that I'm on right now. But for the time being, that is not the way I want to go with that. For the time being, I'm just going to do the whoopee only, and maybe just tie on a little piece of cordage to act as a water break. So, here, what do I do? Alright, we'll have to hope that works. Alright, so I'm gonna do the other end a little closer up here, so anyone else out there who orders a Warbonnet or similar lashed or similar gathered end hammock like this knows how to do this. So I'm going to disassemble the continuous loop here. It slides right out. I'm going to take my fixed loop of the whoopee sling here. I'm going to slip it through the little loop here. Do the little do a little lark's head loop on there, and then I'm gonna run the big berry end, the adjustable end of the whoopee sling out through the loop of the continuous, or the ridge line, fixed loop on the ridge line there, out that way, like so. So, again, hopefully I did that right, and we're gonna find out now by hanging it up. So, here we go. Here's a look at the weight with the whoopee slings on it. It's coming in at 1.65 pounds, so it's almost a half-pound lighter than my other hammock. Out with the old, in with the new. Alright, this just might have to do. They say that it is better to or it works a little bit better if the foot end is a little higher than the head end. This might be a little too high. I tried to fine tune it a little bit, but it may needs a lot more work. We'll find out here in a bit. But let's first take a quick little look for those who aren't familiar with these Warbonnet Blackbirds. There's quite a few videos on YouTube already on these, so I won't go too deep on this, mostly because this is my first experience with one too. But yeah, there is a tie out here on this end, on the head end, that helps, you know, pull the bug net off your head on this side. It does have a fixed structural ridge line that runs the length of the hammock here, so that will supposedly help keep the hammock at the same length no matter where you hang. And then of course this is this little corner cut here that comes around this way. This is the famous foot box that makes these hammocks so popular for those that like them. And then the last telltale feature of these Warbonnet Blackbird hammocks are the shelf here. So this is a shelf that can also be staked out like so, and that's just a nice, in lieu of a storage pocket. This is a shelf that you can tuck down, you know, a book, water bottle, shoes, socks, sandals, jacket, your phone, electronics, you name it. Anything that will fit here will gladly accommodate that space there. So let's have our first lay. Alright everybody, first lay in the Warbonnet Blackbird. Hope this works. Not bad. Spread out the foot box here. I had to get out and I adjusted my head up a little high. I think the foot end was still quite a bit higher than the ideal heights compared to the head end, so got that adjusted out, and this is quite nice actually. Got the foot box here. Yeah, try a little bit more here, and yeah, this seems to cradle my feet a little nicer. That extra length of fabric that hangs out, or that runs off the edge there, definitely gives me the ability to keep my feet apart here and in a nice neutral position with my legs straight out, and have mostly flat lay here. So I think this might just be the ticket to a bit more comfortable lay for hammock camping. Here's the shelf right here. Can slip my hat in there for now. Got the ridge line here. Might be just a tad tight. Have to play around with that a little bit more with the hang distance on the tree and post that I've got it on. But I think this has got some potential. I know this original Blackbird's more suited for people under 6 feet. Of course, shorter you are, the more comfortable it'll probably be for you. If anyone over 6 feet, you're definitely going to want to look at the longer Blackbird XLC. But again, that's a little bit more expensive and a lot more features, but also a little bit heavier weight with that too. So I'm pretty happy with this, I think, and so I'm going to be excited to get it out on the trail and try it out on a camping trip. I think I'm going to sleep in it through a night out here in the front yard first, not tonight, but maybe this weekend, and give it a proper break-in. Now here's one other thing you can do with the Blackbird here is it comes with these little tie-out straps in the middle that allows you to fold the bug net over if you unzip it all the way down both ends, and then you can have a netless hammock to lounge in, enjoy the sky above if you got a good view of the sky and bugs aren't a problem, or you just want to go netless for any other reason. You have the cord that'll always be there, but as long as you're willing to work around that, you can still sit in it and just like any other netless hammock. And again, this is a double layer, so it's got the sleeves right here. You can pop in your pop in my sleeping pad or insulation layer under there, and I'll just keep it out of the way and in place. Alright guys, so this that wraps up my new Warbonnet Blackbird here. Pretty stoked for it. Have to hopefully get it out on some trips this year where I can really put it to work and enjoy it. And in the meantime, my next couple videos that I'll probably be releasing, I'm hoping to look over the new tarp I actually got to accompany this. It's a more affordable tarp for me. It's Pariah Outdoor Products sill nylon tarps called a Sanctuary tarp, and it is the hex cut. It's got the catenary cuts in it. So I'm going to be overviewing that, and then also looking at modifying it with a Dutch wear gear suspension, or Ridgeline suspension that I got for it. So yeah, that'll be coming up next, so stay tuned for that. Until next time.